Welcome back everybody to another video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We are doing a match reaction, obviously a bit late. Just going to review what we experienced on Saturday against Wrexham away after our 3-1 win. Brilliant result. I think it took me a while to calm down from a bit of a high it was from that result. What a terrific performance it was. A lot better. Probably one of the best away games I've experienced for a while. It was one of them games that I did say would probably be end to end during the whole game, but we were on them straight from minute one. So yeah, brilliant game it was. Foley, how you doing, mate? Good to see you tuning in. Hope you're doing good. Now, obviously, what we're going to do is we're just going to go slowly through our basically match rating and see if we can agree or not to say if it's the correct ratings for the players, to be honest, because I'm looking at some of them thinking it's a bit of a weird one. How they've scored this, but on some of the sites. So yeah, Ryan Hunter, thanks for tuning in. Got a feeling about Stoke. It's gonna be a tough game, mate. It's gonna be a tough game. Yeah, but going on to this game, like I said at the start, and we didn't really do a preview, which was a bit of annoying because we've been busy of that game. But I said at the start of the game, it's gonna be very end to end. Very difficult for us to get through, but I was proven wrong about that. We found when we attacked it was very easy in some instances. Now I want to say one thing. I want to apologize to Burrell. I criticized him a lot at the start of the season, and I did say if I could see anything coming out of him, it's going to be pace, stamina. He's going to be a machine. And I was right about that. But I didn't expect him to be that good. For the price we paid for him, I expected him to be quality. In the sense of he has to make a reaction for that price. But yeah, I just want to say I apologize. I know it's a bit early days to say it, but Burrell, you proved me wrong. I will say it. Burrell, you proved me wrong. I think up front and the way it was laid, either two up front and Kone behind you, or you both of you rotating, however it is, it's working. It's bloody brilliant. I'll go into it in a bit, but I think it's great tactics from Julian for these two. But we'll go into that part later on. Obviously, I'm trying to not spend so much time on this. He's our road runner, Neep, Brian says. He's quality, mate. Honestly, I'm lost for words on Saturday. I was. But yeah. So going in from the first game. The first minute, like I said, we tuck in 25 minutes. After 25 minutes we go dead, we do, and that's what's been happening recently in games where we kick off the game straight away and we're on it for 25 minutes and we're just dominating. But I looked at the stats and the momentum of the game was pretty much all Wrexham in that first half. Somehow, I don't know how. But for me, my opinion is the first 45 minutes, we was non-stop on them for once in this season. For against away, we done brilliantly, honestly. Kone and Burrell should start against Stoke, I agree. It's going to be a tough one depending on who's coming back from injury, because we have injuries coming back for Stoke, Julian has said, but we'll do that. Obviously that'll be done later on in the week. But yeah, we was non-stop on Wrexham and it was a difference, and it was a very positive difference to see away. I'm very happy to see that. Now, the first goal obviously was an own goal by Connor Cody. It was. But beautifully set up by Harvey Vale to do what he did. Very great on that right wing. He did brilliantly on Saturday, I thought. He was astonishing on that right wing. I'm not, like I said, I know he's an all-round midfielder. That's what I love about him. But on the right, wasn't really comfortable with him on the right. But he done a bloody great job to provide those crosses into the box and runs into the box. And obviously led to Kone's little shot. Obviously, Burrell getting the kind of an interception shot in there, and going from there, obviously deflecting off Cody. It did. So that was the first goal, and then we kept pushing them for that second. We did constantly. Usually when that first goal goes in, we die down, but we kept on it like for 45 minutes, just on them, and then that's when the second goal came in, where I think it was Paul Nardi, in fact, that had the ball and started it off with Jimmy Dunn, and then going to Nicholas Madsen, and then Madsen seeing the run from Kone, and what a bloody strike from Kone. Honestly, I'm not surprised, but we're gonna see it all season. I think he's proven his state that what he can do and what he wants to do. He wants to score goals for us. So yeah, that second goal for Kone was absolutely astonishing. So I think big marks to the accuracy of the shot as well for him. So going from there, from 2-0, obviously, I believe we went into half time on the 2-0. I can't remember now. I'm actually losing track of that. I'm just gonna go and double check though, if I'm right or wrong. I could be wrong. I did watch the game, which was quite annoying. I'm just gonna look at the thing. Yeah, so we went 2-0 in. We did from the set before second half. We did brilliant team goal, 100% Ryan. The finish on Cole brilliantly. Conan Burrell, mate. The one thing is, obviously going into the second half, it was a bit dead. We went into it a bit quiet. We did. It was pretty much after that second goal, Wrexham were going in with it, with the set pieces, trying to win the corners, and going from there. And obviously, like I said, always, even against Coventry, when you got someone as tall as Kiefer Moore or someone that's 6 foot something, you gotta watch the player carefully. Unfortunately, it was really bad marking from, I can't remember who it was now. I think it was Jimmy Dunn, possibly. I'm not too sure. But it was really bad marking from whoever did on that corner for Kiefer Moore to score the goal to make it 2-1. And fortunately, apparently he was man of the match. I don't know how. I just don't think he was that great. He got an 8.0 somehow. It was a bit of a weird one. So Kiefer Moore made it 2-1 on the, I believe it was on the 67th minute, and I was assisted by Lewis O'Brien. And then going from there, obviously we made some subs, and then a cracking counter-attacking hoof up the field from Jimmy Dunn to get to basically up the field for out of nowhere. Roman Burrell, chasing the ball like, wow, pace as hell, and beating, I can't remember who it was who he beat, but he got that ball. I thought it was a bit of a heavy touch into that box, but when he chipped that keeper, obviously we knew what was going to happen from there, and pretty much that was it. On goals, obviously, I believe straight after that, there was one more attack, I believe, from Dembele, where it was through balled into the middle, and Dembele had a chipper over the keeper and obviously just hit the post, unfortunately, and that would have been opening his account for the season. But apart from that, 3-1, great result away. we didn't have any ball possession. It was all Wrexham according to stats. I could probably agree with that. But yeah, it was a cracking game for us to win away, and we just gonna go into it against Stoke. Now, going into ratings, my screen is making some weird stuff. So yeah, going into ratings, obviously, so we'll start off in goal. Paul Nardi. In fact, we'll wait a second. Let me just read the messages here. But yeah, that pass from Madsen. Yeah, would you say there are any weak links in the squad at the moment? There is weak links, and I can tell you in a minute who they are. Wrexham has thrown this thing as did all times. Burrell flew off, mate. He's just an unbelievable player, isn't he? Burrell is. He's going to be quality for us, I think. And I know I criticised him, like I said, keep bringing it up, criticising him at the start of the season, but he's going to be one hell of a player for us. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, the positive news, as I've been bugging and pesting all bloody season long at the start of the season, we need Paul Nardi in goal, and finally we got to see Paul Nardi in goal, and finally he got and proved why he needs to be in goal, and finally, in my opinion, it was out of him or Burrell to have man of the match. He was outstanding. You know, even though they scored a goal, Paul Nardi was unbelievable, as he always is. You know, I know unfortunately Joe Walsh apparently he's had a fractured arm. But hopefully it's a speedy recovery for Joe Walsh. Hopefully he does well in getting back into the first team and challenging Paul Nardi. Listen, look, I'm not going to throw any hate to him. Listen, he's had a difficult start to the season. But I believe the better person is Nardi for us in goal. And hopefully Joe Walsh can fight for his place, unless Julian accepts him back, and then when he comes back from injury, puts him in. But Paul Nardi, I think, deserves the 7.8, 100%. Bloody brilliant in goal. There was some outstanding saves there, some mistakes from the back there was, and yeah, I would say it's what we needed. We've needed it. So yeah, let's move on to Jimmy Dunn. He got a 7.5 according to FOTMob. I believe that is probably correct for him. He was very quiet in the game. Obviously, in my opinion, the only thing that he really did was obviously assist. He let down the defense a little bit, I think, with a couple of mistakes he made, holding the ball up too much long. He was. So yeah, I think it's a question now. Obviously, Jimmy Dunn has to start, but it's a question that we need to make. Why haven't we seen Adamson yet on that right wing back role yet? It's very interesting to see why he's not playing yet. I don't know. I don't think he was on the pitch, on the bench, was he? I don't think he was on the bench. Yeah, he was on the bench at all. So I like to see what situation is with Adamson at the moment. So yeah, do you see Jimmy calm the players that? Yeah, listen, he's the captain. He's got it, and you know we chose the best person, I think, to be captain for QPR this season. I think he's a cracking player. I've always thought he's a cracking player. When we saw him at right back from Marty Fuentes, I thought he did outstanding. And I think Julian has gone in there and thought, you know what, I'm not going to ruin the momentum. Let's get him in there. Keep him as the right wing back. So yeah, huge shout outs to him for marching on for the team and going from there. Moving on to centre back. So Leo Morrison got a 7.0. Do I think that's right? It's difficult to say, just because of the goal. I think the stronger defender was Mbengu on the day, but I think it's a bit harsh to give Morrison just a 7.0. I think Morrison did well, but there were some things that could have been a lot better in the sense of interceptions, tackling, and going on from there. Now moving on to Mbengu. Mr. Mbengu, man, Mr. QPR, I think he's gonna be called soon. He reminds me a lot of two players that once played for QPR, and that was Danny Shitu and Mark Spignott. Mark Spignott was one of the QPR players that always was a fan favourite, just because of how he reacted with the fans. Mark Spignott was a cracking defender. Obviously, some people might not know who Mark Spignott is, but yeah, he was one hell of a defender at QPR. He was back in the day. So yeah, and Mbengu he's got two types of player in him, but I think he's way better than both of them. I think his challenges, like I said, he tackles too high in the air, but we didn't really see that much of that. But I think he is gonna be an incredible defender for us for the rest of the season, and we need to keep him fit. I can't really say if there's any weak links for Mbengu at the moment. But yeah, I think Mbengu could be a potential captain in the future. He's definitely a leader for sure. So yeah, I give it to Mbengu. What another performance, and he needs to stay in that left centre back. I don't think we can take him out of that. He is just one hell of a player. You know, we can't, like, looking into it with the January window, when we was trying to get Ronnie Edwards, the only thing you could do is put Ronnie and Mbengu together. You know, and as much as I love Liam Morrison and Jay Clark-Salter and all these other centre backs that we have, you know, you gotta kind of look at it this way: who's it gonna work best with? You know. So yeah, let's look at a few comments quickly. Mbengu is absolute nuts, but plays for the badge. Gonna be a crucial player for us. Agreed. And Mbengu does play for the badge, 100%. His name is more, the way to say it is, he sees the name at the front is more important than the one at the back. Now, if you want to know where I got that from, there's a film called Goal out there. So yeah, have a look at it if you don't know about it. It's an actual really brilliant film about a player from Mexico who was an immigrant gone to America, and yeah, so great film. But yeah, going on from Mbengu on the left back, Norrington Davis apparently got a 6.8. I don't know who the hell is scoring these bloody ratings. Norrington Davis did really well. I would say same as Morrison. I would say a 7.0. Obviously he did take a bit of a knock, and Mbengu took a bit of a knock, so it's going to be a bit interesting to see if Mbengu is left out to rest against Stoke or on the bench. Norrington Davis though, I would say he's a very important left back, and he's the only left back I can see at the moment that can stay with us and help that left side defend. Escudina I just don't think is ready yet. Still, he's got a lot to learn. We may even, if we even send him out on loan in January, maybe a good option, but I think Escudina is a good super sub for us on the left back. Not much to say with Norrington Davis on the day. All I can say is he had a good performance. He wasn't brilliant, but yeah, going on from there. Now, this is a question that is very important for QPR fans right now. Our midfield is probably the strongest it's ever been for a while. Now, we obviously have at the moment Varane and Maddison in the middle ahead of the centre backs. Now, the combination that these two have been having for the last 3 games, whatever you want to call it, has been astonishing. Honestly, the passing, the tackling, the communication, everything has been astonishing with these two. Mads, like I said, I've liked Maddison when we bought him. A lot of people probably would say send him out on loan, but you gotta give the guy a chance because he's come from a different country. You know, he doesn't play in that position. He's come into the club. He's done well. Well, now, last season, obviously, it was a struggle with Mike Fuentes. But I think he works well with Varane, and I think it's working and it looks good. But it leaves a big question on Kieran Morgan, Samfield, and some other centre mids like Isaac Hayden. I think someone put in the chat about why isn't Isaac Hayden playing with Varane. I'll tell you why. They're two holding midfielders. They play the same game. You know, if you're going to do that, you're going to struggle with getting passes into that box. So I would say if you're going to put anyone together, it's got to be either Varane, Maddison, Varane, or Field, or Varane and Morgan. It's got to have to be something like that. Now, Isaac Hayden, quality holding midfielder, but I believe Varane is killing it right now, and we can't change that whatsoever. So, yeah, at the moment, against Stoke, we're probably going to keep the same two. Varane, 7.3, Maddison, 8.0. I would say Maddison looks quiet in games, but he gets the job done. He does. His passing game is unbelievable, honestly. I just think he's going to get a lot of assists this season. And he's going to be that type of deep line playmaker, probably box to box midfielder. But I know a lot of people are going to say, like Foley said, I prefer Field. I do prefer Field, but I think Maddison is just doing the correct job at the moment, better than what Field is. And yeah, like I said on Saturday, I think if it stays like this, I could probably say Field probably could end up going out on loan in January or sold if he's not getting game time, depending on where we are in the league as well. So yeah, we'll see where the midfield goes. But moving on from there, we have, who should we start with? All right, we'll go with Vale. Now, Vale is a player that I am, like I keep saying it, I don't know why I keep repeating myself, you know. Vale is my favourite player, has always been my favourite youngster, and coming from a QPR fan, obviously playing for Chelsea, it's a bit of a bad scenario to say, but I've always liked Vale and Alfie Gilhurst. I think they have that Mount and Declan Rice type of relationship. But I think Vale has done well this season already, coming in whilst Ilyashev is injured and just kicking the ground off. 7.4 he got. I think he could have got about 7.8. I think he done a better job than majority of the midfield. So yeah, I would say improvement wise, I would say tracking back, helping out Jimmy Dunn, maybe might be a good shout, but it depends on the tactics what Julian is doing. So yeah, going to left wing. Sato, very quiet game for Sato, I think. He had a chance in the first half, he did. Unlucky in the first couple of minutes, I think it was, when he shot. But apart from that, he was a very quiet player. I think we may, I know he did well in his first game against Charlton, but I think maybe playing the likes of Colley on that game might have been a bit better, saving Sato for Stoke, because I believe we need him for Stoke 100%. So yeah, but he got a 7.1, which I think is about right. He was very quiet. It was unlike, he was a very marked man. He got fouled a lot. He did, which we're going to see a lot this season from him getting the set pieces for us. So yeah, and then now moving on to our two players that were quality. Let's start with Kone. Yeah, I just don't know what to say, man. Honestly, I don't know how we've signed him. I really don't understand how someone hasn't gone in for him I would say I'm surprised Leicester didn't go in for him. I'm surprised probably Sheffield United. There's some other teams as well. But very surprised that we got him for the price as well. For the price we got him for, it's actually a bargain to get. Now, Kone plays like Les Ferdinand. Oh God, no, don't bring up Les Ferdinand, please. I'll have a big rant about it. But yeah, Kone, tremendous game he had. Absolutely brilliant. I couldn't, think of a striker at the moment that is in form like he is in the Championship right now. His weakness right now, I would say that he needs to improve on, is probably moving into the right areas to be seen more. But when he does get that ball, he strikes that ball with a ferocious shot, man. Honestly, he's so vicious. It's like accuracy with anger, So I think if he's going to play the two up front, it's going to be a mixture between him and Frey and him and Burrell. But Burrell, I think, is just, we're going to need him. Burrell is my Jamie Mackie. That's it. It's the only way you can say it. Jamie Mackie didn't look fast, but he was fast, and he had heart for the club. So yeah, Koenig got a 7.1 with a goal. I think that should be higher than 7.1. I don't understand how he's not got an 8 with a goal. It makes no sense when he had a better game than Kiefer Moore, in my opinion. Because he survived 90 minutes, so it makes no sense. Moving on to Burrell with a 7.5. That should be more. That should be an 8. Even though he got subbed at 77 minutes, that should be way more. I don't get who's scoring these ratings. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like Okonkwo got a 7.4. How is Okonkwo getting a 7.4 when he had 3 goals put behind him? And Tottenham have just scored now. But yeah, Burrell and Kone, great fit, honestly, on the day. They were astonishing players. Burrell has the pace, Kone has the strength. They both have, looking at it, but I would say Burrell needs to work on his shooting a bit better. It was a cracking little goal he scored against thing, but some shots, if you've seen him, he misses a lot. He generates power and he just goes wide. He doesn't really focus on accuracy much. But yeah, I think going into the next game, if he plays, this week he needs to work on his shots. He needs to work with Kone a bit on the pitch in training and go from there. Now, substitutions that we made, obviously it was only we made Esquidina, Karim Kademble, Frey, Isaac Hayden and Samfield. Obviously Samfield and Hayden didn't get a rating because obviously they only came on the 84th minute. Michael Frey got a 6.0, Karim Kademble 6.8, Esquidina 6.4. I can't really say much about Esquidina because obviously it was the only part of the game really was maybe when he was running down the wing helping who was it? Who was it? Karim Dembele, I think it was. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. Michael Frey didn't really do much, so I can't really say much on him. But Karim Dembele had the shot and the pace to try and make it 4-1, but was very unlucky. On the bench who didn't play was Ryan Colley, Kieran Morgan, Steve Cook, and Matteo Solomon. Now, that's the ratings. That's all of that. Now, going from here, we need to keep the momentum going. 100%. The first 45 minutes was a great progress from seeing us go from 25 minutes to 45 minutes without even looking shit, if that's the way I can say it. But yeah, that needs to keep going. But yeah, I would say going on to one of the questions I think Ryan said, weak links. Oh, I can't remember who it was. Let me just have a look. Just trying to have a look. Who said weak links? Yeah, it's good to see Frey back fully for sure. Well, injuries are always, when injuries come back, they're always great. Mackie will always be my favourite QPR player, Ryan Hunter says. Mackie was class 100%. I think the Mackie goal against Liverpool was, man, that literally just explains bloody the Burrell goal and the Koenig goal against Charlton. So yeah, start fast at the Stoke after having some very winnable times. Sheffield United was Oxford. Yeah, we got a good run of games at the moment, 100% a good run of games. And let's see if we can keep. Like I said, we need to keep our home games a fortress. We need to win every home game to even think about if we're going to be fighting for playoffs or anything like that. So, but looking away games, we look pretty good. So yeah. But yeah, weak links. Someone said something about weak links. I can't remember who it was, but I can tell you right now, the weak links that I can see is probably I don't even know if I want to say it. I think it's just Walsh. I think Walsh can't play the system. I think he rushes out goal too much, and he doesn't communicate with his centre backs that much, which is a bit weird to me. I don't want to say Morrison's a weak link because he's not. He's a really good defender for us, but I feel like you have a certain duo that can work well together. I don't think Morrison can work with Steve Cook whatsoever. I think the only person that's probably going to work with Steve Cook is probably Clark Soa, just because of similarities and the differences of what they can do on the pitch. So yeah, it's going to be, when we get these injuries back, it's going to be brilliant to see what the strength we have in the squad and the ability of our sub bench and who makes it and who doesn't make it. So yeah, apart from that, there's not much really else to say. Apart from, I would say Nardi was the man of the match for me. Nardi was definitely man of the match, or like I said, it could have been Burrell as well. But I'm gonna give it to Nardi just because we ain't seen him in a while. We've been begging him to play, and now he's played, and he's just been outstanding in that game. So yeah. But injury wise, hopefully we see some news from Iliasher, Clark Salter, Poku, before the Stoke game. It would be very, very, very great to see all three of them back. Obviously Ziad Lakesh will not be back till late April next year. But I think we are good in each position. I think our youngsters as well that we have that. And I will say this: the new Swedish guy, is it Swede? Is it Swedish? I can't remember, but he looks good in centre mid. Looks very interesting. He does. He looks like a really good player for the future. He does. It's gonna be very hard to keep him, I think. But yeah, let's go into the Stoke game with the same team probably, and we need to work on from there, because we need a strong defense against Mark Robinson's Stoke, because they're gonna be on us 100%. They're gonna attack us a lot, and I think Norrington Davis is probably better than Escudina for that at the moment, unless he wants pace down the wings to beat the fullbacks. Then okay, cool. I understand why playing Escudina could be best. But I think apart from that, we got at home, we got a big opportunity to beat Stoke. I think after recent performances, it's been very interesting. So yeah, just have a look at some of these comments. Start fast at the Stoke. Foley says, yeah, start fast at Stoke after we have some very winnable games, Sheffield Wednesday and Oxford. You know what? We say it's very winnable, but at the end of the day, we do struggle against Oxford sometimes. you know, and Sheffield. We can't doubt Sheffield Wednesday, because Sheffield Wednesday are gonna give it to us because of the scenario they're in. So yeah, we need to watch out for Sheffield Wednesday. Morrison is weak. I would say Morrison is not as great in the air than I thought he was, probably, but that could just be because who he was up against in previous games. So I feel like he struggles to beat 6'6" players, I would say. So yeah, but he's an outstanding defender, I think he is. So yeah, Cook is past it now. Cook will be a super sub for us constantly. Predicting 2-0 against Stoke, Foley says. It's a realistic result. I'll put it there. Kone with a double, maybe. So yeah, possibly. We might even see Charlie Austin at the game. I think Poku on the right complete our team. It depends. We'll see what happens. But I think right now, I think Poku is better than Dembele at the moment. Dembele's got... I think Dembele performs better on the left, but it's going to be hard to say when Sato... Like, listen up, we have too much talent in the midfield, man. Honestly, it's hard to say. Like, we've got Ilias Share. Like, this is our midfield, right? So, attacking midfield-wise, we have Chair, Poku, Ryan Colley, Dembele, Kogi Sato, Vale, who could play there as well. So we have 6, maybe 7 players that are pretty decent in attacking midfield roles. That if we do get an injury again, hopefully not, touch wood we don't, but if we get an injury again, we have backup. You know, and the worst problem is the best player I think got injured too soon, and that was Poku. You know, Poku's going to be a key player for us this season with pace and goals, I reckon, down the wing. So yeah, but we'll see what happens. We'll probably end up doing a preview before Stoke game anyway. Hopefully we can squeeze it in. But shout outs to all the fans that attended that game. I think we took about 1,000 odd fans, so shout outs to them for you know marching up and down the country for QPR. They deserve pretty much everything they do. Big applause for them, and you know, going on from there, because you know they kill it, man, going around the country supporting QPR. So yeah, big shout outs to the fans, and hopefully fingers crossed the R block can kill it on Saturday, and we could be that 11th or 12th man, I should say, and get the result that we need to move up the table. So at the moment, talking about tables, this is how the table looks, if I can get to it. So Middlesbrough on top with 13 points. Stoke obviously second with 12 points. In the playoffs, got Bristol City, Leicester, West Brom and Coventry. Now, the teams that are all on the same points as us is Norwich and Birmingham only, which are above us, 11th and 10th. Which have the same results as us. Same win, draw and loss. But then playoffs is 9 points, so we could probably reach the highest on Saturday is 4th. So yeah, let's see what we do, and we will go from there. But apart from that, that is it for tonight. That's my match reaction. Hopefully it wasn't bad. I know I ain't got Sato in the squad, just because they haven't updated him yet. Fingers crossed they do that as quick as possible before the Stoke game. But yeah, goal difference, we need to get that goal difference sorted out fully for sure. But we're gonna leave it there. We are for tonight. We're gonna continue obviously this hopefully sometime this week with the pre-match against Stoke, probably Friday or Thursday. We'll see what happens, but yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. We'll leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, and big shout outs to everyone who tuned in tonight, and we'll go from there. So have a lovely evening. Enjoy work, whoever's working tomorrow, for the rest of the week till the next game. And yeah, we'll catch you either Friday or Thursday, hopefully, for another live show for the preview for Stoke. So yeah, big thanks. Catch you in a bit, boys and girls, if girls are there watching as well. So yeah, I can't be too bad at that. So yeah, catch you a bit. Bye.